Have you ever found yourself saying something and in mid-sentence thinking, I wonder if that word really means what I think it means?
He didn't fall? Inconceivable. You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, it can happen, even to the best of us. And I think there's two reasons for this, or at least two. One is, some words are complex, and we learn them at a young age and often feel like maybe we've arrived once we've got the definition of a word and failed to realize there's complexity and nuance that should be built onto it to give us a better understanding. The second could be the word itself. They change over time. All right, for me, one such example was the word myth. A four-letter word, looks pretty unassuming. Let's jump to Merriam-Webster's.com and see what this dictionary has to tell me about it. Well, first I notice they have a kids definition section, which is pretty helpful. And it talks about a story, which is kind of the thing that I operated under. Yeah, it's a story, it's untrue. But then when I jump to the more complete definition, I realized there's certainly some nuance to it. In fact, well, they've got ostensibly here. Let's check on that too. Okay. Apparently, presumably, supposedly. Yeah, so it was things that I thought I fell into this definition number two, that it was an unfound or false notion, exclusively, ignoring that, wait a minute, there is more to that story, including the fact that, well, a myth doesn't have to be entirely false. Merriam-Webster is a good dictionary site, actually. I thought, it talks about urban myth, probably maybe more familiar with the context today, but this isn't going to be a commercial for a dictionary website. So let's go on. So how about some myths that turned out to be true, right? So this got me thinking, and this isn't, the end-all be-all, but it gives you some real examples of things that people maybe commonly thought were not true. But wait a minute, after archaeology and history, people honestly looking at the data, there turned out to be more to that story. So again, here's another one. And maybe you're like a little critical of some of these sites, that's fine, but it just gives you an idea that maybe there's a little bit more nuance there. So a book that I found a while back was this book, Myth Made Fact. And I thought the author, Dr. Marcos, does a great job of taking a look at some of these stories and saying, hey, there was a reason that they existed. More specifically, he takes a look at the Christian myth. And at first I thought, wait a minute, this is completely blasphemous, the idea of a Christian myth. But he's really building on things that Tolkien and C.S. Lewis talked about. They created these wonderful fantasy lands, but they created them on the truths that they saw in the Bible. So maybe I'll get back to this more on another day. I'll leave you with one final thought. Did a quick search on Lewis and myth. Came to this site, and I thought it's a great overview. Really, there's a lot there. So I want to keep this video short and not go too deep into the trenches. But certainly, if this has piqued an interest for you, I encourage you to check it out. My plan is to come back with some more words that hopefully you may find interesting or may lead you down your own rabbit trail. But appreciate your time and take care.